Today we're going to do a little walkthrough of the Waypoint intelligent flight on the Autel Evo. So from our main flying screen, we're going to hit the drone icon in the top left here, and we're going to select Waypoint. That's going to bring up the Learning Center, and it's going to walk you through a couple of the controls for this intelligent flight. So the way they describe this intelligent flight is the aircraft will fly a predefined flight path according to the recorded points. We have the controls of A and B on the back to set waypoint and delete waypoint. And then the left command stick will rotate left and right command stick will speed up and down. So there's two different ways that you can set up this waypoint flight. The first way is just determined by the drone. So we're going to set waypoint 1 at our height and location that we want it. We're going to go fly over to a second area, set that height and the location of that waypoint, and so on and so forth until we reach all the waypoints that we want to achieve. But for this method of setting the waypoint, we can't control which way the nose of the drone faces. So it's just going to fly straight from point 1 to point 2 to point 3 and so on. One other thing to note is we can short press the pause button on the controller, and that'll pause the waypoint flight, or we can long press it and it'll end the waypoint flight. So we're going to hit finish. We're going to set this point that we are at right now as our first point. So you can either tap set right there, or we can hit A on the back of the controller. So I'm at 300 feet starting off this first point. I'm going to take it up around 350 feet, and I'm just going to fly over to this area of the complex. I'm not going to go too far so I don't lose line of sight from it right now. All right, so we're right over here. So the only thing that we can control when we set up the waypoint flight this way is the gimbal. And for this demonstration, I just have the camera set to auto. The clouds keep rolling in and out, so this is really just to be able to show this off well and let the camera adjust as it needs to. So we're going to go right here for waypoint number 2. We're going to hit A to set that point. So I'm going to take it over to this area, and I'm going to go a little bit lower, just under 300 feet. So the height that you want to fly at, if you're going to be changing heights throughout these different points, is important. The drone is going to set to the height of the next waypoint, and it's going to fly from the current waypoint to the next one at that height of the coming waypoint. So we're going to set this as waypoint 3, and that'll show you. So we started right around 300 feet, so we're now setting waypoint 3 at 265 feet. So we're going to hit start. It's going to evaluate. And you notice it's going to first go up to the height of waypoint 1, which was 300 feet, and it's going to go fly back to waypoint 1 to begin the flight. So we didn't fly too far. We did that on purpose just so this video doesn't take too long. It's going to go to waypoint 1. Once it reaches there, it's going to adjust its height to the following waypoint height, which is around 350 feet. It's going to turn the drone, and then it's going to advance to that next waypoint. So like I said, we can hit the pause button here if we want to pause that flight, and we can hold this button to stop task. If you hold it long enough, that blue bar fills up, the flight will stop. You can also hit exit up there, and that'll end the flight right there. So we'll take note that you can bring up the map, you can zoom in, and you can actually see each waypoint, the distance from your home point, and the height of each waypoint. So we're going to go ahead and hit continue, and let's watch it on the map. So you can see H over here is my home point, and the drone is continuing on to the second waypoint. So we are at the height of 356 for that waypoint. It's going to reach that second point. It's going to adjust the height back down to what waypoint number 3 is, 265 feet. It'll then turn and go back to waypoint 3 at that height. So there's a little bit of downside to that. If you wanted to start your flight on one end of a complex, let's say at 100 feet, you wanted to fly over that whole complex and end at 400 feet for a more dynamic shot with this mode, you wouldn't be able to. If you set waypoint 1 as 100 feet and waypoint 2 as 400 feet, It's going to start at waypoint 1, go up to 400 feet, and then advance at that height to waypoint 2. So just keep that in mind. So the other way that we can set the waypoint, now this flight has ended, we're going to go back to this drone icon, waypoint. We've already looked through all this, so we're going to skip that. And instead of flying to your first spot and setting the first location, we're going to go to the menu here, and we're going to design a new route. And this is going to allow us to design a route on the map. So we have a bunch of different options that will pull up. You can choose how to create a waypoint from aircraft location, point on a map, draw on map. So we're going to actually do draw on map. This will show you the number of waypoints that you set, the total flying distance, and the action upon finishing the flight. So we're going to have it just hover, that way I can control it and bring it back to me when I'm ready. And we can adjust the heading towards next waypoint, free control, defined by waypoint. So we are going to hit start. So we are there, so we are going to draw on the map. Let's say we just kind of want to make a big circle here. So it's going to set up all of these different waypoints. So if we wanted to, we can go and tap on each one, and we can set the different heights that we want to be at. So we are at point 1 right now. Let's take point 2, 250 feet. Let's go to point 3, and go back to 180 feet, and we'll just let it go on from there just so we get the gist of it for now. So we can add more waypoints if we need to. We're going to hit OK. We're going to hit start. It's updating all the waypoints. And so the flight is going to begin soon here. So it's going to first drop down to that second waypoint, and it is now flying to that waypoint. It arrived to that second waypoint. It's going to lower to the next waypoint and advance on. So we can see it here, it's going to be 180 feet to that second waypoint. It's going to reach that. We're going to go up to 250 feet. For waypoint 3. And then it's going to advance over to waypoint 3. So this was just a simple introduction into the Waypoint intelligent flight. Not going into too much detail, but in the future we'll go into another video that will show how we can actually use this function to achieve the shot that we really want to get for a client.